Good evening, YouTube. Hardball Crazy come back video. Today I got a few cards to show off. Nothing super spectacular, but great additions to my PC. And the headliner is that a Tiger Great was in town today, so I got his autograph. So I'll showcase at the end. Of course, I start now with my tops. Actually, my common card of the day. Highlight a player that's basically in the common bins of the collection, but it's fun cards in my PC. Little trivias and tidbits and guys who are have little pieces in baseball history. Today is more of a modern guy. 2015 Topps update. I think it's an update. Yep, update of pitcher Pat Venditti. He is the only full-time switch pitcher in Major League Baseball history. And pitcher Greg Harris from the 80s and 90s, he had the ability to switch pitch. He only did it one game, his last game of his career, in a meaningless game in Montreal in the season. He kind of said, "Oh, I'm going to switch pitch this game." But as a full-time switch pitcher, Pat Venditti is the only one. And where the MLB had to make sure they rules where he has to declare before each at bat if it was a righty or a lefty. So if I'm a pitch, so and so came to bats, I'm pitching lefty, so he can't go flip flop in between at bats. But he's the only one. That's the rule. You have to declare lefty or righty for each at bat. And what's cool about this is that he's pitching right-handed here in his Topps update rookie card. I have his Topps Heritage card here, and he's on a lefty pose. So together, I think this is a kind of cool duo rookie card PC. Pat Venditti showcases him pitching both lefty and righty. That is my common card of the day, and cool little pieces, cheap pieces to inexpensive pieces to my PC. Mostly I got like 5 or 6 card modern day pickups. Nothing spectacular. I didn't spend more than probably $8 on any of these cards. Nate at Topps 85401 showed a Barry Bonds card edition in his collection as a 2005 Bowman white parallel. I've never seen them before. I say, whoa, that's a kind of cool looking set. I'm gonna pick me up a white parallel of 2005 Bowman. So I did that eBay, and I picked one up. A future the most recent Hall of Famer, CC Sabathia, and this white background with the red border. I think it perfects with the Cleveland Indians jersey. It's a great looking card. I just think this is an awesome looking card. And the Bowman Whites is numbered to 240. I think this is a great looking card of the new most recent Hall of Famer. For my 2024 Gritty Tigers PC, a guy I normally wouldn't collect. He's like the end of the bench, utility player who's never a star. But this is a great looking card. Get a card of him on my PC. Try to get all the guys from the 2024 Tigers. Are the unique 0.2% to playoffs in a matter of weeks. 0.2% chance of making the playoffs to making the playoffs in a matter of weeks, month and a half, 2 months. And this is a Zach McKinstry Topps Gallery auto. It's a blue version, but I think it's just a great looking card. Zach McKinstry. I'm not even sure he's going to make the ball club out of this year. He's like a utility guy. Next up is we all know I have my Hall of Fame PC. When I started my collection of Hall of Fame PCs and going about my collection, I know those guys who are not Hall of Fame, but I want to make sure I add in my collection, so I made a rule up. I will collect all these guys who are in the cards of as much as I can of players' retired numbers from each team, and a card of that player in that team who's got a retired number. Say, for example, the Yankees with Roger Maris and Thurman Munson and Elson Howard are not Hall of Famers, but I make sure I get cards of them. Ted Kluszewski with the Reds, like Billy Pierce with the White Sox, and so forth and so forth. Like Lou Whitaker, Willie Horton with my Tigers. Not Hall of Famers, but I just make sure I had a card of those because they're still legends. And this is probably the most unique one. He's retired numbers retired with the Tampa Bay Rays, and this is probably my first ever position as special advisor. That is Don Zimmer. This is from 2010, and from 2000, I don't know, 4-ish, 5-ish or so, to about 2010 or 11. Disabled American veterans had team issue sets to help out our veterans who come back with being disabled. And there's cool little sets that came out. I have a couple of these. And this is, I think, about the only really Don Zimmer Rays card from his coaching advisory days or whatever, active days. And can't go wrong having another Don Zimmer card in collection, right? The next up is one of the rookies I think is right now rather undervalued. He's had a real good season last year. Wasn't really on a contending team, but he finished top 5 in the Cy Young. I know he's a pitcher, so it's hard to say. First number 1 overall pick draft. I think he's got a lot of hobby love and in him, and I think this is a sneaky great buy right now. I expect big things from him in his next year in his career if he stays healthy. This is Hunter Green. I picked up his Topps Chrome Sapphire rookie card, and you can get this card super cheap right now. And I think he's going to have a lot of hobby love, interest in hobby in the near future. Speaking of Hall of Fame, this guy I think absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame. MVP, won World Series of 2 different franchises. 11-time Gold Glove, considered the greatest defensive player in his position. All-Stars many times. 2,100 hits, close to 300 batting average is Keith Hernandez. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. If Ozzie Smith and Bill Mazeroski are in the Hall of Fame, deservedly so, for their defense primarily, and Keith Hernandez was probably a better hitter than both of those two. And Keith Hernandez is not a Hall of Fame, even though he's considered the greatest defensive first baseman ever. Why? Because he's not a power hitter. Sorry, I think that's a crappy issue. But here's his 89 Topps batting leaders. Like, it doesn't, being a Mets cards in the 80s, he doesn't have any great cards of value from the 80s. You know, everything is like super overprinted. You got the Topps Tiffany's, and I think this is the other one that has any type of say best card, Mets card of them. Most of the other stuff is just your typical Topps Fleer Donruss Score Upper Decks from the mid 80s to early 90s. It's just over a ton of them, but try to find the best Mets card of Keith Hernandez. He got his number retired with the Mets too, so that's part of my number retired PC also. And for today, today's headliner in my collection, today in town, I live right by Michigan State University, and today was the annual First Pitch Dinner, where it's like a fundraising dinner where they get together, have some dinner, meet the team, a silent auction, and each year they have a keynote speaker, celebrity type speaker. And I've been the previous years, and this year's keynote speakers were 2 people, Lance Parrish and Dan Petrie of the '84 Tigers. I had Dan Petrie's autograph years and years ago, but never had a chance to get Lance Parrish. So today, it was a cool dinner, nice little event, and I got like 450 or 500 people or so, I think, attended it. And I ended up getting Lance Parrish to sign this card. And Lance Parrish was always one of my favorite Tigers from the 80s until he left for Philadelphia. And it was a nice function. Petrie and Parrish are both cool, both told great stories about their careers days. They both were very nice people. If you're not familiar, this is the 85 Wendy's Coca-Cola set. 84, of course, was the Tigers won the World Series, so they came over with the 84 series. The 85 Wendy's set was a giveaway of the Wendy's, local Wendy's in the cards in the Wendy's of the area, and it's just like the 85 Topps backs, red backs instead. and it has most of the 85 Tigers, 84 Tigers, 85 top set. It doesn't have all the 85 tops Tigers in the set, but it has all the most of the ones. And this is the 85 Wendy's Lance Parrish card, signed, the big wheel. And for a while, the early to mid 80s, even with Carlton Fisk in the 80s, you could make an easy argument for like a 3 or 4 or 5 year period that Lance Parrish was the best catcher in the American League. He was that good for that while. And one interesting tidbit I found out today, one little stat, the great Rickey Henderson, late great Rickey Henderson, Lance Parrish is the one person who threw out Rickey Henderson the most times in his career. A little interesting tidbit, a little factoid for you. But that's my cards of the night, recent pickups, and thank you for sticking by and watching. Have a good night.